and the drop's gonna come from my sternum all the way out. There you go. So we're opening up those vertebrae. I'm gonna contact right there at L1. Good, breath in. We're gonna come all the way back, staying in that flex position, and then now just allowing shoulder blades to drop back. Whew. There you go. Notice nose and chin traveling this direction as I feed into the occiput. It's going here and then following through. A little decompression. Tilt backwards a little bit. I'm gonna walk away a little taller today.
I know.
Shereel, y'all, we're here at the Source Chiropractic, and I have been coming here since 2019. And let me tell you, man, the Source does not disappoint. You know, when I first came, I could barely walk in the door. It was serious, y'all. I'm a dancer, I'm a martial artist. I'm a martial arts trained in Shaolin Kung Fu, Tai Chi, and Qigong, and I am a clinical herbalist. So today, my man, Dr. J, is gonna work on your girl to help her be able to stay connected, to keep doing the things that she loves, and to maintain health, wellness, and well-being.
What's up, y'all? We have Shereel here. I'm gonna do a full body assessment and adjustment. As you heard, I mean, she is super active, does it all. She's doing some Shaolin Kung Fu, some Tai Chi, some Qigong. She's an herbalist. She's traveling all over the place, teaching. And so we've had a very unique approach to be able to try and take out some of this chronic compression that she feels in her body. And so because of all of that movement and the martial arts and the dancing, we found that it's really contributed to a lot of compression in her hips and the low back. And so as I start to bring her legs all the way up, as I come up this way, I'm already starting to feel tensioning along the outside of her legs. So traction all the way from the top part here down the outside. And you'll see the legs kind of flare out this way. And so if I take her out of that by internally rotating and bringing the legs all the way together, you can see how her pelvis starts to lift up. So watch that again. Legs here, putting her internal rotation, and start to bring the legs together, approximating. You'll see her pelvis lift up, and that's because of a lot of this tensioning that's happening along the outside. And then when it meets that restriction and tension, the hips lift up this way. And so what we've been trying to do is take her out of this compression by opening up her pelvis and low back and start to get some better internal rotation of the hips so we don't have these compensations over time. As I traction into each leg, just want to see for symmetrical movement side to side. She has really good movement all the way up through her hip on the left side. As I traction the right, I feel it catch all the way up into that right side here. So we're gonna connect to her body, start to guide a couple big breaths in. Have you take a big breath here and out. Big breath in your belly. I'm gonna traction sacrum down, try to provide some decompression because she does have more of that anterior pelvic tilt and a lot of like hyperlordosis here in the lumbar spine, so you can see how shallow that gets. So if you imagine the spine right there in that curvature, we get a lot more compression here. So we can start to unload that and relieve some of that compression even by tractioning sacrum down. Have you take some big breaths in here, holding that space and traction even more as she exhales, which pulls up on the diaphragm, but I'm pushing the opposite way to provide a nice little stretch. Big breath in your belly, all the way here. Open, creating space internally, and I provide a nice stretch externally, tractioning rib cage all the way up as well. So with this, because she has some more of that compression, I like to put her hips on some blocks. So I'll put the blocks on the front part of the hip, on the ASIS, at an angle in a way that rocks her pelvis backwards to open up and create more space in the low back here. So I'll have you take a big breath in. As she breathes and creates space, I'm gonna traction through the legs to pull her hip and pelvis back even more to provide even more space at that L5, S1 and into the lumbars. So as she's there, now she's in a little more of a relaxed, at ease position. And so we have some of that compression out, we can dive into what's happening in the rib cage and thoracics. So as I traction through, feeling movement through her thoracic, she has really good movement above T4, so this upper region here, but she has a big band of tissue lower in the rib cage. So one of the ways that we've been able to connect this is by matching tone with tone contacting a large forearm contact in the lower thoracics here, but she's in some of this posterior pelvic tilt. So I'm gonna connect here. Maybe take some big breaths in. I'm tractioning up, inferior to superior, up the spine, contacting right at T10, matching tone, big breath in, and the drop's gonna come from my sternum all the way out. There you go. Good, big breath into that space, filling up the rib cage here. Awesome, letting it go, traction the sacrum down. Great, so as she's in this, when we're in more of that anterior pelvic tilt, it's usually gonna compress the hips on the front side, which can contribute to the legs flaring out into external rotation. So because we have her now on these blocks, tilting the pelvis back, I can use our drop table here to guide her into more internal rotation hips. So as I come the leg out, it's internally rotating the hip on the front side. As the table drops down, provides a little more movement and a shearing effect on the actual femoral acetabular joint. So we're getting more internal rotation, but again, she's in that posterior pelvic tilt. So I'm gonna do the same thing on the opposite side, just trying to get more movement side to side in that interior tilt. Good. So just like, this is helping relieve some of that tension that we were showing you originally when we were approximating her knees together and bringing her heels together. So as I'm doing this, it's relating that, having a stretch response on the outside of the pelvis as well. So seeing this again, can you tilt your own tailbone down? Good, and feeling tension and tone all the way down the sides. I'm gonna hold here. So all this tension comes down in the inside part, outer part of the hamstrings. Can I have you bring your heels together? And then now bend your knees. Good, so I'm gonna hold that tension on the hamstrings. Keep your heels together as you drop your legs back down. Providing a nice myofascial release on the hamstrings, but taking her out of that postural distortion pattern because her legs are together and not flared out. We're gonna do that one more time. Up, a little lower in the hamstrings where these hamstrings insert into the back of the knee and go back down, tractioning out along that lateral border of the hamstrings. Good. So as we adjust the bony structures, the osseous structures, I also like to look at what's happening within the muscles and the fascia from a biotensegrity lens so that it doesn't just pull right back into that same pattern. Something else unique that we have been doing with Shereel is what we call an anterior lumbar. So our pelvis is moving better even though we haven't even touched the pelvis yet. But because she has some of that hyperlordosis, we're gonna adjust L1, L2, so upper lumbars, but from the front side. Can I have you sit up at the end of the table? So this is something that you won't see very often. It's not one of the easiest adjustments to do. So I'm gonna walk around to the other side. I like to use this block as a stabilizer and reinforcement on that back side. So even in this position, you can see a little more of that curve. So I'm gonna take her out of that by having you round forward. We're gonna cross your arms, rounding forward as much as we can. So opening the vertebra here at T12 and L1. We're gonna come back down to the table a little bit and then hunch forward more to stay in that slightly flexed position. So we're opening up those vertebrae. I'm gonna contact right there at L1. Good, and breath in. We're gonna come all the way back, staying in that flex position, and then now just allowing shoulder blades to drop back. Whew. There you go. Whew. Big breath in, have you hunch forward, just opening. Good job. Reach your arms up overhead. Good, seeing extension of the rest of the thoracic spine. That feels really good. You drop your arms back down. Your shoulders been doing okay lately?
Yeah.
You pull your shoulders back. Great. Back forward. You stick your chin forward and backwards. So feeling more tensioning happening on the left SCM as she's going in that forward protraction and retraction. So come back down. So I can strip through that, but also know that the musculature there connects to upper cervical complex. So as I close down on the left occiput, I feel more compression on the left side compared to the right side. So we're gonna adjust left occiput here. All right, so we're gonna adjust Shereel's occiput on the left side. I'm gonna have you keep your knees bent to flatten the lower back, create a little more ease in your spine.
Okay.
Here. As I traction back this way, feel a nice opening on the left side, which is what we want to be able to continue. So here, feeding into upper cervical complex on the left side, you'll notice nose and chin traveling this direction as I feed into the occiput. It's going here and then following through. Nice. All right, big breath in your chest and out. Left side. Left side, this is going to be more on the anterior aspect. That last one you saw, nose and chin traveling up this way. This one's going to be going more down towards the floor that way. Ooh, smooth.
Nice.
Yay. A little decompression. Tilt backwards a little bit. I'm going to walk away a little taller today. So that was a traction at C7 and T1. Have you drop your legs down. So again, because she's doing so much dancing side to side, I think this gives a lot of compression into her hips. So as I traction from her ankle all the way up to the hip, it just gets jammed in the hip. And so again, I like to match tone. I could release here, but I feel like that just tractions on her knee. So I'm gonna contact right above her knee and use my whole body. So we're gonna get some slight internal rotation of her leg and then pulling. There we go. Number one, leg number two, going here. Is that okay?
Yes.
Cool. Traction, space. All right. That's not gonna be as specific of an adjustment for the hip because again, there's so much like global compression in that area. We just use that to create more space. Have you traction your knees in, rotate in? Yeah, cool. Smooth. This feels good on the outside. Have you pull your toes up? Okay, a little more compression in the feet. The middle part of the arch. We're gonna go here, turn your knee in. Good, continue to try and reinforce that. Pull your toes up, dorsiflexing, now let it go. Let it go. Cool. Smooth. Same thing on this side. Rotate your knee in, internal rotation, dorsiflex, now let it go. Nice. So again, reinforcing this pattern. So everything we've done is internal rotation so that as she now goes about and walking, dancing, moving, she has full mobility and ability to internally rotate so that it doesn't lead to so much compression in the hips and the low back. All right, Shereel, let's have you sitting on up.
Oh, this is wonderful.
Let's see.
That's great. That was great.
I feel like it. Thumbs. All right, so there you're able to see full body approach of how we've been able to really help take compression out of the low back and hips and get some more internal rotation, adjusting different parts of her neck. I also feel some clicking happening on her radius. So as I do this, it's going click, see if you can hear that. Click, 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 click. So we're gonna contact radius, see at what point does it start that click. It's really just as we feed into it. So I'm gonna contact radius here and drive across. Ooh. All right, smooth. Unlocking thumbs, have you sit up tall, pull your shoulder back. Now you can give a really good thumbs up as you leave here. Pull that shoulder back. Ooh. Index finger. All right. A little bit of click on that side too.
Okay.
Oh, crunchy. All right, there you have it. That's how we've been working with Shereel. She's been an amazing practice member here for multiple years, and she's also has many beautiful gifts that she's cultivated over the years. And if you have a request for any teachings, Tai Chi, Qigong, Shaolin, Kung Fu, all of her herbalism, you'll find her link below this video. And I would love to have you connect with her as well. Thank you, love you, appreciate you. Connect soon.
All right, y'all. And like as soon as I came, I was cared for. They really sat me down and walked me through why I was having the same pain show up in my body. And then by the time I left, your girl was walking straight. And so it's been a wonderful journey to just come here every week and be cared for, because unlike other chiropractors, the Source is not just trying to give you a cool adjustment and then you go home. The Source is really interested in you being well in your body, in your mind, in your spirit, so that you can be full and to be present in the things that you love and enjoy. So this is truly a unique place, and if you haven't been here, you need to be here. And you also need to be a community with the folks here too, because it's not just, you know, clients just doing their own thing. They do events, they have gatherings where we can be a community to help hold each other in our wellness journeys.